Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, and this will be another LOTRO guide video. Today, on our LOTRO guide video, we are going to be doing advanced map study and location of where you should be leveling and what level, what area is in each map. That makes sense. Oh, reverse that. Sounds like Willy Wonka. What level in every area you should be leveling at. There's that terminology we wanted. Ha 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 ha! Alright, well, welcome to my home here in the Cape of Belfast. We are looking, it's nighttime. The ocean is down there. You can see some wonderful seagulls. It's very beautiful. But please, please, follow me inside. Follow me this way. Here's my dog at the front door here. But we are going to study maps. So we are going to go into my study here in my little home here on Belfast shores. We're going to study all the maps of Lord of the Rings. I will try to keep this precise and not super confusing for you guys, but at the same time we're going to go into a little more detail. I have another video on the same playlist on our channel, Voice of the Rings, where we talk about just basic things with maps. But we're going into advanced map stuff and also where to level in the map. What every region's levels are. For example, when you start the game as a hobbit, you start in the Shire, and it's pretty low level, right? So, that is normal. It's usually level 5 to 10, the Shire. So, we're having a bit of lag. Please hold on as we slide across the floor. Whee! Whee! Okay, I'll stop. Sorry. Alright, moving on. Alright, welcome to my study. Here's where I study the fall of Minas Tirith. All right, you want to know about maps. I'm sorry, I'm distracting you all. Oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. All right, so as you can see here, I've got some nice maps on the wall. But we're gonna use the actual map in the system, right? I'm just finding a nice spot in the house to study. Let's see. Well, here's one of my main studies. We're gonna go into the actual study room back here. This is my house. There's my bedroom. Don't you guys look, I even have a little cat right there. Okay, to maps! Maps! So we must focus. We must focus, dwarves! Alright, welcome to my study. So in here we are going to study about maps, my friends. So, let us begin our studying of maps. Alright, for one, we're going to turn down the music even though it's just fantastic. This will be our background music. Alrighty, so we will start by opening the main map of Middle-earth, and for some reason my character is scared. Why are we scared? I don't know, but we can change that into a happy mood! Slash... Boom! Yeah! Alright, here we go. Let's open our maps of Middle-earth, and we will start at the very top. A map of Middle-earth, everyone. So, basic geography of Middle-earth, right? The planet is actually Ardar, right? A-R-D-A. But we focus on Middle-earth. Basically, it's a little larger than the area of Europe. I would consider it more of like the known world, by European standards at least. In the Roman times, right? It's like that kind of area mass, right? It's pretty large. I would explain it like if you were going to go from Erd Louis Mountains to the Misty Mountains, that would be going from like maybe the end of France maybe all the way over to maybe like Hungary, maybe a little farther than that, the distance. It's pretty far, maybe not quite that far. There's some cool maps online you can find that details in. But anyway, let's just go through the maps. Are you ready, my friends? All right, here. We're going to start in Eriador, right? So we'll pop over here to Eriador. We're going to expand this. This is where you're going to start in the Lord of the Rings Online video game, all right? So, if you are a human, your location of start will be in Breeland. If you are a hobbit, you will start in Breeland, I believe, as well, but and then you'd pop over to the Shire to start your basic quests. If you are a dwarf or an elf, you will start in Erd Lewin, the Blue Mountains in Elvish, and it will either be at Thorin's Hall for the dwarves or Kelondim for the elves down here, right? Or Dunland is the other area we use for the elves. Alright, so these are the main areas you need to know about. We're going to talk about in a second about the levels of each area, but I want to give you a quick overview of what parts of the world they have in the Lord of the Rings Online Middle-earth, right? Because, for example, you see a lot here, right? There's a lot going on down here on the map, but in actuality, there's nothing actually here you can walk to yet. They might add stuff in the future, but there's nothing down here. There's nothing on this side, right? There's nothing in this valley here, right? So, it's kind of like this area, and then these are all connected, right? You got like this, right? Everywhere these names are, and you can click, those are actually places you can zoom into and see a closer version of the map. So we're going to go from left to right as we travel across Middle-earth in the Lord of the Rings Online. We'll start with Lewin, like we just talked about, the Dwarven areas. This area is between levels, I would believe, off the top of my head, it is 5 to 10. Here, I will make sure, let me double check my numbers. Alrighty, so now that we've got this down. So yes, Lewin will be levels between 1 and 15. This is the area you should be leveling if you're 1 to 15. I'm going to do a more advanced video in the next video on this playlist that will go into a little more detail of every single area. So I'm going to give you just a vague assessment of each area, the generalness. I will give you more details of each place later on in the next episode. So we're going to just stick with maps, learning about the maps. So now we're going to pop back up and we're going to go over to the Shire. So it's right up here. The Shire is between 1 and 15 as well. Again, it's the Hobbit starting location, but again, you do not have to start at these locations for what race you are. For example, if you're a human and you don't want to quest in Bree, you can come over to the Shire and quest in the Shire. Or you can go quest for the dwarves or the elves in Lewin. So that is all you need to know about that. I'm going to bring up these markers, right? We got filters up here at the top. If you need to know about the map system, my map video explains how to use the map system and the quest tracker. I believe I put that in that. I'll give a quick little overview. These are all the different kinds of markers in the world. We talk about it in the map thing. Things are really important. Stable masters, right? The horse place is where you can travel. Those are really important. Where the vault keepers, where vendors are, the green ones, those kind of things, right? This is good to know. I will leave that up here so you can see. Again, you can also pop this up. This is a quest tracker, and whatever quest you have on in the airline, you're looking at the right region or place in Middle-earth. If you hover it, it'll show you a ring somewhere. Granted, this quest is not the Shire, so it's not showing up here. But, moving on. The Shire, again, is levels 1 to 15. It's a great area if you really love the beauty of the Shire and you just like to do things peacefully. I would say, for questing-wise, my favorite is to quest in either Breeland or in the Mount Dwarven area. I feel like the Elven area is a little more tedious, and I think the Hobbit is probably the most tedious. But again, I'll go into more detail with that in a later video about the leveling, the best leveling. I'm going to make a path. I'm going to make my next video is going to be about where's the best places to level quickly, how I usually do it myself personally. All right, now we're going to pop over to Breeland, farther to the right. All right, so you will usually start in Archit, right? We're just going to basically explore each map and the areas they zoom in. One thing I forgot to tell you guys, I'll let you know real quick, Lewin, you can also click on the Dwarven housing area right here, right? Or the Elven housing area down here. You can open those up and make them bigger, but we're not going to worry about that. And you can also click over, right, instead of going up. I am right-clicking to zoom out with the map, right, if you guys don't know that, and left-clicking to zoom into where I want to be. And then going over to Buckland, or Breeland, I mean. There's Buckland here. The Old Forest, you can zoom in on the Old Forest to see it. It's rather a maze. This seems like it would help you, but I'm telling you right now, you'll still get lost in the Old Forest, so be prepared, my friends. Tom Bombadil will save you, probably. I hope. Alright, moving on. The Barrow Downs, you can open that up. So there's a northern area of the Barrow Downs. You can go to the southern Barrow Downs down here. It's one long area right there. And you got Breeland. You can open up Breeland. So here's Bree. This is a lot of a main hub of the world, right? A lot happens in Breeland. A lot of people like to hang out. The Breeland homesteads are down here at the bottom in Breeland. Alright, again, a lot of Bree going on, right, with the name. Breeland is this entire region. Technically, Buckland is in Breeland, but Bree Town is what you hear about when they say Bree in the movie a lot, right? Combe and Saddle, or Staddle, I think it's Staddle, right? Yeah, Staddle, sorry, I don't know why I said Saddle. Staddle and Combe are two small villages outside of Bree. Archit is north of that. This is where you will start in the human campaign, usually. I believe, do the hobbits might actually start here as well? Now I'm thinking about it. I think you do. So this is actually the beginning. Normally you're stuck in an area for the first few levels where you have to complete it, and then it teleports you into the real world, a different dimension, basically. So this is one of those places, right? There we go, Archit. And then now that I've explained Archit, we are actually going to go over up to the North Downs. All right, here are the North Downs. Again, by the way, Breeland is from levels 1 to 25, and it says you can even do some stuff up to level 30 here, right? If you're wondering where I'm getting these numbers, I'm actually using something from LOTROwiki.com, wiki.com. So if you'd like to know this stuff, I will put it in the links. You can go down there. Please do subscribe and like the videos too. It helps me out. This is a very technical video for our LOTRO guide playlist, right? So, but I think this is important for everyone to know. Moving on, and I'm trying to do it as quick as I can. That's why I keep saying moving on. So, level 30. So now we're going to go up to the North Downs. Again, one thing is I feel like, as we're studying here, that the bands are too loud. So we're actually going to just turn that off for a little while. And then also the ambience sounds slightly lower because I hear that rumbling for some reason in my house, and I don't know where it's coming from. And yeah, anyway, moving on. Back to the maps. All right, back to the maps. Where were we? All right, area door. We are in Breeland, yes. All right, now we're going to go to the North Downs. So the North Downs has one of the old fortresses of Fornost in it, of course. Now, the North Downs is from levels 20 to 35. The east is 25 to 30, so this area of questing would around Trestle Bridge, and there's a lot of the main chapter quests. I will go into that more detail in the next episode about questing, right, and directions of where you should quest. The right side, Esteldin, which is a secret place here in the mountains from the Rangers, an old fortress, is from level 25 to 35-ish area, and then also, of course, this elven area here, and the dwarven place here, up here at the north. I forget what is it? The dwarven it's Othrakar. By the way, we just leveled through these areas in our main playlist, a LOTRO tale. Actually, it was several episodes ago, but you do check out the LOTRO tale playlist, you guys. That's our really fun playlist where I do voiceovers and we go through the adventure. This is a very technical episode for our guide playlist. Again, I know I repeated that already once. Stop repeating myself. All right, so we're gonna go left to Evendim. I'm gonna show you here. So we're gonna go up to Evendim here. This is one of my favorite places. It's a beautiful place in the game. We just went through questing here in our LOTRO tale series through Othbarton, I think it is. I can't see with all the filters. You can remove the filters to see it. There it is. Othbarton. Again, I'm going to remove those filters because I think it looks cleaner so you guys can just see the map. This area is very fun to quest. Now I'm going to go to the north. I keep popping up instead of clicking Fort Shell. I'm going to go up again so you can see where I'm going. So now we're going to Fort Shell. Evendim, by the way, is levels 30 to 40. Fort Shell. Fort Shell is, I like to describe it like Alaska, or very far north, maybe Sweden, Norway, you know what I mean? Northern Canada, right? Very snowy, very cold, very cool. There's a giant crack here, glacier crack, that you get to walk through, which is really cool. The Jakuru. This area is known to the Fort Shell people. They're like a northern people. They actually are in the lore of Tolkien. They are. They're very cool. Sometimes they're good guys, sometimes they're bad guys. Most of the time in the history, they were good guys. They helped fight against the Witch King of Agmar, right? So this is a very cool area. Check it out. This area is for levels 45 to 50. So it's kind of originally when the game first came out, the max level was 50. This is one of the last places you could quest, right? Again, when the game first came out, guys, all that was here is this, up to the Misty Mountains and to Mor's Trollshaws and these areas, Agmar. None of this was down here, and none of the other sides of the Misty Mountains was here. Fort Shell was added as a little fun extra expansion. But now that we've talked about all of these, we're going to move to the right. We're going to move to the Lone Lands. Lone Lands, Lonelands. So the Lone Lands holds Weathertop, the old ruined fortress of Amansul, right? We all know that from our lore, and I hope we are all educated in that, right? We're doing a geography lesson, you guys, while we do this. That's just simple geography while I teach you about LOTRO, right? At the same time, the game. So the Forsaken Inn is where you do a lot of your quests in the Lone Lands. Forsaken Inn is levels 18 to 23. That's what you'll be doing here. Again, you're like, wait, but the other place was higher. Yes, I know that. In the next episode, I will tell you a streamlined of where you should go in leveling order of regions. I'm showing you from left to right on the map, if that makes sense, on the large map of Eriador and Middle-earth. So we're going to continue going because this is mainly about detailed map stuff for this episode. Haragrim Osguruth is level 20 to 30, this area questing. And then we will have Gareth Argarwin up here, this area. This is going to be from levels 31 to 35. There's an instance up here that kind of stuff, right? All right, the last bridge, entering the Trollshaws, right? So we're going to go to the Trollshaws now. All right, so the Trollshaws is where Bilbo's trolls are. This is where they were right in the Hobbit where they were frozen. I believe they are actually, let's show our little markers here. I believe they are right here. The stone trolls, Glade. Yep, they're right there. Right? I don't want to give you spoilers. I want you to find it yourself. It's still going to be hard for you to find. But anyway, there's questing in here. There's a fortress here. Again, let me see if I can pop up just the fortress icon. Settlements. There we go. All right, so Thorinhad. Right? All right, so the Trollshaws are level 35 to 40 area. You basically, if you start the quest over here, they will streamline you through the whole place, right? And I will talk more about that in the next episode on streamline pathing your questing in Lord of the Rings Online. But continuing on our lore and geography here. So the High Moors, the Fort of Baruna, this is where the Nazgul got wiped out in the movie, right? Correct? From Elrond and Gandalf's magic. So they wiped them out. The Giants' Vale is very cool. There's actually giants there, like people giants. These are things. They're usually bad in Lord of the Rings Online. There's a couple good ones here and there. Then we have Rivendell, of course. We have beautiful, gorgeous Rivendell, right? Beautiful place. Rivendell is going to be also in the level 35 to 40, but it's also going to have a lot of main chapter story quests and prologues that are going to happen here. You help the Fellowship. You're on the main chapter. I'm going to talk about that more in the next episode about streamline the questing and the chapters. We're just doing the maps for this episode. I know I've said that like 5 times now. I'm going to stop saying that. I think you all get it. All right, moving on to the next area. So this is the Trollshaws. I like the Trollshaws. We're going to go up to the Misty Mountains because they are connected. The Misty Mountains are a beautiful place. Technically, Rivendell is connected. That's what they show it down here still. But the Misty Mountains are fantastic. They're really pretty. They're also very high, very northern. There's a lot of dwarves up here you help. Glowin is up here, and he has a camp that he's doing stuff. You're sent up here to do stuff with them. The Misty Mountains are level 40 to 45. All right? So that is the area here that we're going to like, right? All right. So we're going to move on here. We're actually going to do one thing. I'm going to bring us somewhere else and put us some background music because I'm going to be totally honest. I need some background music, you guys, you know? And the best place for background music is over in Breeland, because I love the Breeland jig. Once we load up here, we will continue on our exploration of the Misty Mountains. Alright, so that other one should turn off, and we should get the Breeland background music. So let's continue on our lore. Actually, you know, we'll go in here. We'll continue on our studying of maps. There's a nice sitting area right in here. Hello there, everyone. Can we join you? Because we're going to study some more maps together. Let's see, can we sit on this chair? We can sit on this. Whoa, I just glitched out. I'm stuck in the wall. Ha ha. Hilarious. Hilarious glitches. Video game glitches, you guys. They're the best. There we go. Well, that's weird. I don't know what's going on there. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here. Maybe this will let me do it. I'm wasting so much of our time now. Forgive me. There we go. Ha ha ha. Let's continue on studying our maps, my friends. All right, shall we? To continue on our map studying, where were we? All right, we were in the Misty Mountains. So the Misty Mountains are now connected, apparently, to the Vales of Anderwell. So these are way later level in the game. They're like up in the level 115 areas. So we will talk about those momentarily, but I want to finish with Eriador. So the other main last place in Eriador originally was Agmar. Agmar was another main place. This is where the fortress of Khadum is, the original capital of the Witch King, basically, and his forces. Up here you have one of the biggest, awesomest... that's a word I just used, which isn't an actual word. But the Rift of Nurzgashur. It is basically the greatest battle rift, where they have there's actually a Belrog you get to fight with this high elf and all these, and this one of these wizards, and it's like, it's super cool. It's a super cool raid. Anyway, moving on. I really loved that one though when I was growing up playing this game. So Agmar is level 40 to 50. So there's a lot going on here you can do. There's a lot of different peoples and areas you can help. There's a dwarf place here. There's the hillmen here that are good hillmen. Yes, so that's a great place. I do like it. There's a lot of scary people there too, and monsters. But anyway, in Cardoom, Raid is really cool, and instances are awesome as well. Now let's talk about the Entermoors real quickly. What are the Entermoors? Well, the Entermoors are a PvP zone. You actually don't do questing here, right? So this is for PvP. There are quests to do, but what they do is they give you a renown. I'm going to have a video on PvP, or technically in Lord of the Rings Online, it's called PvMP, which is player versus monster player, because other people who play the monsters of the team are considered monster players, not just regular players. It's a little different than other MMOs that have like factions on both sides that both do leveling. Monster players are immediately max level. So, but there's certain ways you have to have it. You either have to have earned it in the LOTRO store, or you have to be a VIP account to play in monster play, whether you're good or bad, and you have to be level 20, I believe. But that's all you need to know. Beautiful place, very cool. We could do a tour episode of this place carefully, so I don't get killed. There's certain fortresses you can take over. They actually change ownership, is why these symbols, the tree versus the eye, who owns what. So apparently the free peoples are owning everything right now, except for this one. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, so that's the Entermoors, we are basically done with Eriador. Well, not technically, actually. There's some other places. So let's move along here, right? So we're going to move down to this area. Before we're out of Eriador, we have to go to the Enterwave, right? All right, so this is an area that is very interesting. I think it's very cool, right? So the, oh, by the way, there's a new area I forgot to tell you guys about. Let's do that before I forget. Breeland. This area, it's called the Wild Wood. They just added it. This was never here before. You can never go up in these mountains before. But this is a new area, and it's actually for leveling between 45 and 50 as well. It's another endgame area. Well, it used to be endgame, but it's not anymore. And now, yes. Well, maybe it will be a cool place, though, for classic legendary servers or whatever. Or legendary servers when they, put it back to the basic level when you start, which they are adding 2 more soon in the time of me making this video. So, we know that. Now we are going to check out a region. And Enterwave. Okay, so I'm trying to find the level for this area. Okay, so I like to say a region. I'm not quite sure if that is how you say it. But a region is south of the Troll Saws. You go through this pass here, or through over here, and you go into a region. This is the area of the original making the Rings of Power and stuff, right? And like where all the elves were that worked with the dwarves before the Great Wars in the Second Age. And this is the walls of Moria, which I just did a tour episode on if you want to look at our LOTRO tour playlist. And I've also starting to do tours of Moria. And later in our LOTRO Tale series, our voiceover series will be here once we're at that level. But this is a very beautiful area. I really like it. Very cool. The Red Horn Pass. This is the pass that Gandalf wanted to take in the movie, but they couldn't take. Saruman stopped him, right, with the whatever storm. And they came back and they went through the walls of Moria, and this is where the Watcher is in the water, right? And this is the Doors of Durin, or the Hallin Gate, which is interesting because it's close to my name, Zollin, but with an H. So I didn't plan that, but they do match up pretty nicely. All right. So a region, the level cap, I don't know if I already said it, but it's 48. 253. So this is one of the new areas when the expansion first came out for Moria. So you'd come and start here, and then you go into Moria. The Enterwave. All right. Enterwave, I think actually is what you say. Enterwave is what it's called. This is an amazing dragon instance, right? This place is really cool. This is from level 61 to 65 questing area. It's a very interesting area. There's actually like some hobbits in here. They're not hobbits though. They're more like the river folk, like a different species of hobbit. It's very interesting. We'll be there too in our LOTRO Tale series. We'll meet them, I'm sure, and fight them if they're bad. Spoilers. Hint, hint, hint. Might get there sooner or later. All right. So, and now we are going to not worry about Dunland right now because that's actually higher level. So we're going to wait to do that. We're going to hop into Moria. So we're going to have to pop over to Rovania now. So now we're on the other side, right? So we're going to Rovania in this area. But we're going to click on Moria. So we're going into Moria now. Moria is extremely large. It was the first huge expansion of the Lord of the Rings Online back in the day. This is like probably 8 years ago now-ish. It's from levels 51 to 60 because it was the level 60 cap increase. Because the max level in the game count was 50, then it was 60, right? So again, I'll talk about more of that in the next episode with streamlining your questing. But for this, we just want to go through it real quick. So we'll start at the entrance, the Great Delving. I just did a tour episode on this. Check it out. I'll have more tour episodes on the other ones. Probably when you're watching this, they'll probably already be up, possibly. So check out the other playlist. This is the first area. The Great Delving is level 51. Then you go down to the Silverlodes. They're usually streamlined. This is a mining area. It's very cool. It's level 52. And then you go back up to Durin's Way. There's a beautiful underground garden here with trees, and they have these mirrors bringing light in. Very cool. You can see parts of the Durin's Stair going by. One thing I want to talk about geography with this map is that actually the lower places are actually like below the top place. So Durin's Way is actually like the highest in the mountain in elevation and heights, where these are kind of in the center underneath Durin's Way, and these are lower than that. And then the Flaming Deep, the Waterworks, and the Foundations of Stone are like really low. So like the Foundations of Stone is probably the lowest point as in depth of where in the mountain, the way it's laid out. So if you think about that with depth, that's good to know for mines. And you'll see that because you'll see the bottom of Durin's Stair here that they fought with the Belrog. And then up here, you'll see the top of it going up. And then if you go up here, this is actually popping out on top of the mountain. That's why this is separate. You can actually see Durin's Bane and the top of the tower where they fought Gandalf and the Belrog. So that's pretty cool. So Durin's Way is very cool. There's a lot of these creepy Moraville, which are basically like vampires and bats people. They're very scary. Anyway, so that's one area. So Durin's Way, again, is level 53. And then you go to Zerarig. Where is that at? I'm not sure where that area is, but let's just go to the Waterworks will be level 54 down here below the Silverlodes. Very beautiful. Just depth. The huge cavern with massive water wheels. Huh. The Waterworks, right? That's what it's called, the Waterworks. Very cool. And then you go over to Zelek Melekon, which has the 21st Hall in it, which also is where the Chamber of Mazabul is, which is where Balin is buried, and the whole fight happens in the movie. So it happens right here. The 21st Hall, that's the one hall they're in, with the big hall with the pillars. Very cool. So this whole area is going to be level 55. Then if you go down to the Redhorn Lodes here, it's another mining area. Very cool, very rocky with tracks and stuff. It's really, really very cool to see the mining of the dwarves, right? I'm a big dwarf fan, as you all know, as Zollin Ironshield as I am. The Redhorn Lodes, level 56 is what you'll be doing here. If you go down then to the Flaming Deeps, it'll be level 57 area. So you basically get a level per the area here. They're not massive areas. They're not massive amount of time, but when you're getting higher level, it takes a lot longer to level still. And then Nud Melek, which is going to have the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, right? This is where the Belrog falls in with Gandalf, right? This is the big divide. There's some other big divides here. They're scary with like lava coming out. But this is the second hall. These are also big, beautiful pillars. And this is level 58 area. And then you go down here to the Foundations of Stone. There is some creepy stuff down here. That's all I'm going to say, you guys. There's something called the Nameless. Very scary. It's very dark. Evil. I mean, look at even the way they drew it. Like, here's the bottom of Durin's Stair, by the way, the lowest point, right? When he says the lowest point and the highest point of the tower, Gandalf says that, they literally fought all the way up and down, right? And then they fell into this water and they fought all the way up to the tower to the top of the mountain. So, by the way, again, this opening is this falls into this, right? The crack. That's a good thing to know. So, this area is level 59, and then you'll pop out and then this area doesn't really have too many questing. That's why there's not really a level for it. I guess there is, actually. It says that this area is level 53, 54. There's a couple quests to do up here. So there is. So then you will go out of Moria to the Dimrildale. This is where the battle happens in The Hobbit, where the one king, where he gets his Oakenshield name. I'm pretty sure it's on the east side of Moria. I think it's supposed to be here. But it's a little differently laid out in the movie, the way they showed it. But this is very cool. This is the Mirror, right, lake. A lot of stories about this. It's beautiful with the stars reflecting in it. It actually is a beautiful spot. So anyway, this goes to Lothlorien, which is fantastic and really cool too. And I don't know why it won't let me open that closer. Are you gonna let me click on it? There it goes. It was weird, but you have to click on it over here apparently. That's interesting. So this is Carith Galadon, right? The capital of the Lothlorien. Lothlorien is for level 60, right? All right. So now that we've talked about that, we are now going to move on to... We're going to start flying through this a little bit faster because I don't want to take too long making this map episode. So I think we're going to go actually down to Dunland. So back over here, we're going to go to Dunland. So this is Dunland, right? The Gap of Rohan. Dunland's level 65 to 75, right? And Isengard, right? There's Isengard. Very cool, very cool. A lot happens there. Now we're going to pop over here to Rovanian. We're going to Southern Murkwood, right? So Southern Murkwood is for levels 61 to 65. Very cool. It has Dol Guldur, which we all know about from the Hobbit movies and from the lore. It's a very cool place. A lot of stuff happens here in the main chapters in the Lord of the Rings Online. And then we are going to check on, let's see. I'm trying to think where we should go next. All right, well, let's go to Parth Celebrant. This is the Great River, this area. This is just in between Lothlorien, Eastern Rohan, and Southern Mirkwood, right? So the Brown Lands. These are some areas you get to quest at. I believe the Great River is level 70 to 75. Yes, that is correct. And then let's just move down on the map here, and then we'll go back up here and check this area in a little bit. So we did Isengard. We did that for Vanguard Forest. Vanguard Forest is going to be, let's see, where do they have it at? I'm actually not entirely sure, but we will worry about that in a little bit. So Vanguard Forest, obviously you all know what that is. It's a beautiful place, right? The Wold is south of the Great River. It's East Rohan, basically, is what the Wold is. It's this area. This is the Wold. It's like a zoomed-in version. This is basically where you'll start your adventures, and this is also where you'll get your war mount in the Lord of the Rings Online, which is a fighting mount, which is pretty cool. You can go up into the mountains into the Wildermorth. The Wildermorth is level 85. The Wold is level 75 to 67. This is Eastern Rohan. All of Eastern Rohan, this one, is going to be between levels 75 to 85. The Great River, again, was 70 to 75. Nofcraft, let's see. We're going to go to... So this is the city. This is this lower part right here. You can open it up. So Noncraft, again, is Northcroft. Crofts, I guess you'd call it. Northcrofts. This area is 78 to 80. This area is 83 to 85, the level. This is the East Wall. It's level 76 to 77. This is Nanhithlo, right? And then you got the Argonath, right? The Argonath pillars. Pretty cool, right, from the movies. And then this is the whole part of the falls, right? So the Beacon Hills, that's going south. We're not going to go to that quite yet. So that's a very cool area, though, right? So this is where that all happened with the splitting of the Fellowship, right? And then the Fellowship chases the Uruk-hai, this way. And then they go on. They continue on. So now let's go to, so that's East Rohan. Now we're going to go to West Rohan to the left. West Rohan has a lot of these different areas. These areas range from level 85 to 90. I'm not going to go into each one of these, but let me just click on each one so you kind of see them up close. There's that area. Here's this one, the Stonedy. It's a very beautiful area. I love this. It's like a northern Rohan. So there's like pine trees, but it's still like fields and like very cool. It has a very Norse feel. Kingstead, fun area. This has Edoras in it. There's Edoras. All right, Edoras is going to be still going to be from 85 to 95. This whole area. The Westfold. You all know about this. The Westfold has Helm's Deep, right? I have done a tour episode of Helm's Deep. If you want to see that and see it in person, I've my tour playlist here on the channel, Voice of the Rings. The Eastfold. Where is the Eastfold? The Eastfold's 88 to 90 level. So that's that area. And then again, you can go over to the Entwood. This is the Entwood is basically south of Fangorn Forest. So if you go to the Entwood, then you can go to the Eaves of Fangorn, right? So the Entwood is actually farther in to Fangorn, right? There's a lot of stuff you're doing here to help the Ents and stuff. It's pretty fun, pretty cool. So over here, you can actually see Walling Hall. And a lot of different spots that I've explored. Again, all these are only shown up because I've explored them. You're not going to have these immediately, guys, on the map. It's an important thing to know. These things that you're seeing, I've explored to learn where all these points of interest are. These little flags and stuff. You'll be able to see where the Stable Masters are and the other main places, but you won't be able to see anything. The flags, you have to learn where things are. Moving on. All right, so we've done East Vanguard, Rohan, all that. West Rohan, we are getting somewhere, guys. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to finish the rest of here, even though this is actually some of the newest areas. They did Gondor next in the leveling, but we're going to talk about leveling in the next episode. I'm doing maps. This is advanced map stuff, right? So moving on, we're going to go north now. Did I show you guys Dol Guldur? Can I click on that? Is that zoom inable? I guess it's not. I thought I could. All right, I want to show you everything. So we're going to go north along the river here. So then you can go to the Vales of Anderwell. Remember, it goes to the Misty Mountains. We talked about that previously. That comes from Lothlorien. This is where Beorn lives here, right? This is the Carrick Eagle place, right? This is where the Eagles live. It's kind of cool. You get to meet the Eagles. And they introduced flying in the game of the Eagles. That would be so cool. All right, flying mounts. So now we're going to go up here to the northern Mirkwood. We've got Felagoth, right? This is the Woodland Realm, the halls of the Elven King, the Woodland Realm. This is where Thranduil, Chamber of Thranduil, right? Legolas is from, his father, right? So that's where that's from. And then we've got, down here, we've got Lake Town. We've got Dale. And then we have Erebor. I just did a video on Erebor tour, if you guys want to check that out too. Lots of cool things. I'm going to be adding more. I'm going to add Dale and Lake Town later on too. It might be out by the time you watch this video, so check it out on my other playlist. To the Iron Hills. So this is a very cool area. The Iron Hills are way over here, right? It's the farthest right place they have besides Mordor in the game right now. You can't go to Rune. You can't go to any of these places over here. They were added this, Jarnfoss, all these different places, Hammerstead. These are very cool. These are where the dwarves came from. This is where Dane Ironfoot came from in The Hobbit, right? To help from that direction. All right. So, and then another thing about up here before I'd say also Raven Hill's right here to the left. Or no, that's not Raven Hill. Raven Hill is right here. There's Raven Hill, right? So now if you go north, they added a northern area. This is very cool. Ered Mithrin, which is the Grey Mountains, I believe, in Elvish. Withered Heath. Very cool area. This is the giant glacier, the anvil. This is really pretty. Very cool. And then again, you can go up. This Scarhold is a very cool old dwarven fortress. You help the dwarves deal with dragons, basically. And it's just really, really cool area. Very cool. Recommend seeing this area. There's one of the fortresses. You can zoom in on some of the, there's the Gleaming Deep. This is an instance or a place you can do over and over. And then if you go to the left of that, above where we saw the Beornings, they added this place, the Wells of Langflowed. It's basically just more northern area going along the river. And this is basically like, actually, I think where the Rohirrim kind of started. Well, this is thousands of years before. They weren't Rohirrim yet. This is where the people kind of originated. Then they moved south to help the kings, and then they got awarded the Rohan area, right? If you don't want to know that lore, I'm pretty sure the Nerd of the Rings channel has a really good video on that. I forget what it's called right now, but it might be like I think it's like the history of the Rohirrim or something like that. I don't know, something like that. It's pretty cool. Anyway, maybe I'll put a link in the description for you guys. He's got an awesome channel. Moving on. So I love maps, so he does good maps too. But like we're doing maps Lord of the Rings Online again. Moving on. So this area is very cool, very neat. Then you go up to either back to where I showed you a second ago, or you can go over to the top left corner. They just added Gundabad. This is one of the newest updates. It's not a max level increase. We're still at max level 130 right now at the time of making this video. But very cool. The original homeland, basically waking place of the dwarves, this fortress. I haven't fully explored this yet. We will later. It looks like they're even going to do more to the north, the way they've done this path and they added this. So it's exciting. They're really adding a lot. They're really fleshing out stuff that we don't know from the movies or stories. So that's really cool. But check that area out. And now we've pretty much done that whole area. So we're going to move south. We're going to move to Gondor, right? So here's this area. We're now going to move to Gondor's area. And then we're basically going to go from left to right here. So none of these areas are out yet. But then you have Western Gondor, which has Dol Amroth, which has one of my houses, right? The Cape of Belfast down here. My house is that one, I think, right there. And then my Ken house, we actually own this island, which is pretty awesome. Again, this is dimensions because it's a housing district like Breeland's housing or the Shire housing, right? So that's actually one there. This is a very cool area. One more thing I forgot to say, guys. I showed you all the other housing areas. I didn't show you where the Shire one is. It's down here below Michael Delving. Just throwing that out there real quick, right? Try not to go too fast so you guys keep up. All right, back to Gondor. So Central Gondor. Central Gondor has a lot of the questings. I kind of stopped telling you levels. I just realized. All right, let's just tell you right now. So Western Gondor is I'll go through it real quick, so just verbally, but without going back through everything. We talked about Western Rohan. That went up to level 95 in the Entwood. Western Gondor now, back where we are, it is level 95 to 100-ish. When you go to Central Gondor, that's going to be levels 100. And so is Eastern Gondor. They're all for level 100 area. Very cool area, though. Very beautiful. There's some neat little areas up in here in the mountains. What else can I zoom in on? There, I can zoom in on that area. Here's Peligar Grin. This is one of the cities that got attacked by the Corsairs that were destroyed and attacked by, because there's a lot of wars going on the south, right? And then they came up the river, right? If you go to Eastern Gondor, they came up the river, right? The Corsairs to attack right here, the port of Harlond, and then right. So that's good to know. Here's Minas Tirith, right? So Eastern Gondor is going to be levels 100 as well. For some reason, they're all 100. I guess you can, since the level cap is past that now, these quests would all give you more XP past level 100, but they're all designed for around that. South of Athelion, right? This is kind of a neat little area. It's got Osgiliath and stuff. It's this whole area here. This is this spot. Harlond, more upper area, Peligar, right? These are smaller versions of that map I'm showing you. So here is Minas Tirith, right? The City of Kings, Old Anorian, which is basically Minas Tirith, Osgiliath, and all these other little cities and capital places up here. Caer Andros is actually a very famous castle in the history of the Lord of the Rings. That's a very cool one to look at to it for you guys. There's Minas Tirith up close. It's massive, just as it looks. You can see all the points of interest and all the money people and vendors all over the place. It's pretty cool. There's got all the grave places back here. Like, it's really freaking pretty awesome. The trees up here, obviously, right? The white tree. Again, another thing to know, everywhere in Middle-earth has a coordinates. So, like, the white tree of Gondor is at 65.7 south by 19.1 west. Has little parentheses there. That's good to know. Everything has coordinates in Middle-earth, right? So, everywhere, no matter where you're standing. So, that's kind of cool. And then Osgiliath. Minas Tirith is level 100. This is Osgiliath. The next expansion was Northern Nephilian. And Northern Nephilian was from Far. It's also called Far Anorian. So this is the March of the King, this whole area. They've really, a lot of individual maps that show similar areas, but that also different areas. It's very interesting with this whole area. So Northern Nephilian. This has beautiful places. This also has, I think, somewhere here, Henneth Anul. Trying to remember where the secret place is. I think it's here. Henan Anul. I believe that's the cave where, you know, Faramir takes the hobbits. I believe that's it. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. Is it somewhere down here? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's it. And then if we go over to Northern, you can go over to Minas Morgul. Minas Morgul was an expansion much later in the game. What they actually did was let me show you here. So North Ithilien, they went up, they added, you know, we didn't finish with Gondor. Let's try to focus on I'm getting sidetracked. There's too many maps, guys. Too many maps. I'm trying my best. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. Far Anorian, this was level 100 to 105, this area. So this is basically like the beacons, and you help Rohan basically come to the aid of Gondor. And there's some interesting people here in these hills. They're like dwarves, but they're not dwarves. They're like these short people, which they do talk about in the Tolkien talks about in his lore. So it's like a different race, which is very interesting. There's quite a few other sentient races in the Lord of the Rings Online that people are not, and in Tolkien's lore that people are not aware of in a lot of the movies and stuff. Or the book from the books, because you have to really go into the depth of his books, not the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. You have to go into the Silmarillion and a lot of his history books, right? That his son finished, Christopher Tolkien finished. So that's basically all of Gondor. The wastes are basically right. The swamps right up here are. There's actually a spot that you can get to the dead marshes. I forget where to the wastes. Where's the dead marshes? Let me find this real quick. I thought that dead marshes were around here. Where are the dead marshes? I guess this is the waste is the dead marshes? I thought there was an actual place for the dead marshes. I can't find it. Let's see. Let's go to this thing here. Let's go to Mordor. Do we see dead marshes? By the way, this is a way you can find maps quickly if you're looking for something, because it's a very complicated system. That's why I'm making this video, to familiarize you guys with the quests. Alright, well, I don't see where the dead marshes are, so we're not going to worry about it right now. This is where Aragorn encamps, right? This is where you start the main area. So basically, when they started, now let's pop over here to Mordor, okay? So this is the next area they added, right? So they added Mordor. Let's zoom in here. There we go. All right, so this is where you come in on the wastes, right? This is where you basically break in the Black Gate, basically, and they're defeated. This is where you get past the end of the trilogy movies in the story on the Lord of the Rings Online. This is the Black Gate is levels. Let's see, what is the level? I think it's 105 to 115 is all of Mordor. Yeah, so we go into here. You can zoom into Undun. This is the front area, right? Undun is levels 106 to 108. Then you have in the Dorm Amroth, or Ameth, 108 to 109. Here's where Barad-dûr is. Lava, Mount Doom. You can actually get up to the top of Mount Doom. There's a little path to get all the way up to it because you do have the chapter. Barad-dûr is destroyed, obviously, from the attack and the defeat of Sauron. And then you go over to Lyn. This is a spider region, basically. This is the Vales of Morgul. They added Morgul later, but here's the Tower of Cirith Ungol, right? And Shelob's in here. And this is a lot of spiders stuff. This area is level 110 to 111. And then if you go to Mount Doom, you can actually see Mount Doom up close. And then you've got Talith. Let's see. This area is levels 112 to 113 down here at the bottom below this. And then if you go to this area, this is like Saragoth is a really crazy looking fortress behind Barad-dûr. And it's actually run by like a Morgul queen, which she's like a vampire queen. It's kind of cool and crazy. I don't know if they're going to add more to Mordor in the future. They look like they are the way they have things hooked, but they're not. Nothing's actually past this point, which is always kind of exciting. There's also more of those weird hillmen that aren't dwarves, but they're sort of like dwarves, but they're not. They're like humans. They're tiny. They live here that you help. And then this area is level 114 to 115, the max level. And then, see, it says Tenur. So there's like a lot of areas. None of this is here yet. So I'm kind of curious if they're going to add this in the future and we like help dwarves or peoples in this area in Mordor. Because Mordor actually has a sea, you guys. It used to be gorgeous. They kind of show that in the video game, The Shadows of Mordor. Even though it doesn't really follow the lore very good of the world, it does show that Mordor used to be really pretty. Like, it wasn't all monsters always. So then they added Minas Morgul. Really cool, some instances and stuff. I haven't done them all yet. And this fortress here, that's like an undead city, is crazy, right? And Cirith Ungol, this is where Shelob actually is. And then it goes over to the trench, you know, the endless stair, into her lair. This is basically Shelob's lair, right? And then over to that spot to, back over here, to the Tower of Cirith Ungol. So now we're really getting there, right? Getting places, right, guys? So that, those areas were basically, Minas Morgul is actually level 120 to 130. So it was with the new expansion, Minas Morgul. But before we finish that, so we basically did finish Mordor. We're gonna hop back to Rovanian because there's a little bit more we didn't talk about, right? Or actually, no, we think we did it. We covered most of the maps. Anyway, up here, just to give you a quick overlay again, the Dwarf Holds, which is a lot of this northern area in Arid Mithrin, the Grey Mountains, that is level 115 to 120. So see, Minas Morgul is actually higher. So they went to Mordor, they went up here, and then we went back to Minas Morgul. Dale lands, these are level 115. The Dwarf Holds, I already told you that. Arid Mithrin, level 117 to 120 up here. In this area, that's this area. The Vale of Anderwell, I showed you, that was later right here. This is 120. The Morgul Vale, which we just talked about, Minas Morgul, is level 120 to 130. The Border Siege, Barith, all these other places, all the Mordor places we talked about. Minas Cirith Ungol, level 125. Minas Morgul, 126 to 130. That's in the Morgul Vale, right? Minas Morgul. The Wells of Langflowed, which is up here. They just added. This is one of the most newest places after Minas Morgul. That's 130 levels. The Elder Slades, which are, I believe the Elder Slades are they in here? I think the Elder Slades are somewhere within this area. There it is, the Elder Slades. Yeah, so this top area, the Elder Slades is where the Gundabad is. The Elder Slades is 130 area. It's the newest area. And then, of course, the Entamores is a 130 PvP zone, or PvMP, monster player versus that, right? The Entamores over here, again. That's always going to be, it always comes up, whatever the max level is, this is max level, no matter what, because PvP or PvMP. And there's also a PvMP, player versus monster player in Osgiliath, which you have to like teleport into. So this is a normal region for questing, and then also you can teleport in and do like, it's a locked, you know, dimension where you can do PvP as well, which I'll do a PvP playlist guide. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. So anyway, you guys, there we have it. there is all the stuff that has been added to the Lord of the Rings Online video game. I know this was a long video. You stuck with me to the end. I really appreciate it. But anyway, that is Middle-earth in a nutshell in the Lord of the Rings Online. We did in-depth every place, right? I'm going to do another episode again. Check it out if you want to know about it, about streamlining quests. And we're going to go a little bit more detail about where to go to level, right? Where to actually be to level. So that's very important to know. It'll really help you guys out. I'll try to make it not super long. We were going over every square inch of the map, so that's why this video went a little long. But I hope. Thank you so much if you stayed this long and joined me for the whole thing. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day in your Middle-earth. And please, 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 it really helps me if you share these videos. And don't forget, right here, there's a subscribe button. And up there on the top, there's going to be another episode of the playlist, that probably the next one about this with leveling. And then over there, we'll have our main playlist of LOTRO Tale. So check them out. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield. See you guys in the next video.